All right, Prem Dave, let's hear it all again.
Oh no.
Well, that's why we're all here together.
If recording these things is important, we forget it so often. And look how many of us are here. I'm not saying I really believe it's important. I'm not saying I care whether it's recorded or not. But if somebody sees that, we ought to have an automatic way. We always have to turn the computer on, right?
We can put a very simple sign on the computer or somewhere in our visual reference point that says record Dharma Night with a bunch of smiley faces.
Well, what if a person doesn't see that?
Well, then we're not looking. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to automatically record on Zoom.
You don't want it to automatically record, right, Marshita? You want the important parts, right? Usually we don't start the recording right away because a lot of times it doesn't start on time or not everybody's here.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an issue of taking up too much Zoom space.
Yeah.
But I'm attempting to get into a new habit of taking care of the video the next day and posting it. So I learned how to post to YouTube again.
Hey, Pure.
But I'm not always going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of an issue just to let it run from start to finish.
Yes.
I'm looking for that salad dressing. Didn't I give you salad dressing? Did I
Yes,
dream?
you had a bottle of
I'll be right there.
Is he at the house?
Yeah, he's walking on the treadmill.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I was going to use the salad dressing.
He's
on
gonna
the
bring
salad.
it.
Yeah, he'll bring it.
Jim, what do you want to talk about tonight?
Well, I was just thinking, I've thought for a long time that the best experiences in life remain unrecorded. And that's just been my point of view for a long time. I've had amazing experiences in my life that are not recorded. And if we do miss recording a teaching, let's feel the gratitude for the teaching coming through rather than feel the loss of missing the recording.
Nice.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
You explain it to me later.
Okay.
And let's record it for posterity, for people who don't get to know Murshid, to be able to access whatever he says.
Yeah,
His
but
legacy lives in us.
other side of it is that somebody needs to write all that down. You'd want to transcribe them, right? If that were the reason you were doing it, I would think that going through the transcription phase would be the next step. Is that right or wrong?
It's right.
Nobody knows.
That would make sense.
She said right.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Now, imagine, who has time for that?
AI.
I do.
AI can do it now.
AI can do it very easily.
Really?
Yeah, you can use one computer or two computers. I think just one. And you can play the video, and then you can have AI. It will automatically write everything that it hears. And so we can go through and just play the video and do it.
And you still have to edit all the.
Yeah, you have to go back through and do it, but it saves a little bit of the
I'm
work.
still just beginning to understand AI. I can't even say I'm at the understand place anymore.
Yes.
AI. I mean, I see something floating in space. Because people write so much about AI these days, like if whether it's going to take over the world and kill everybody, because everybody's seen Battlestar Galactica, most people have. Shantaya, you have something you'd like to talk about tonight?
Well, I think that tendency comes from our tendency collectively to project our shadow material.
That's right. I agree.
I think that we are our biggest threat.
Yeah, how we look at aliens coming, for instance. One person might see it like some people coming to help us grow to the next level. We went through certain things.
They're already here.
Already here.
Now we're here?
Already here.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe it's us. Have you ever thought about that?
Every day.
Anybody feels like a stranger in a strange land? Maybe that's
Not
the way of
anymore.
it might
Not
be them. You have more you'd like to talk about? I can see that you're in a completely new state of consciousness. Something going on in your body, you're just like, and so I'm thinking you must be receiving a lot.
Can we see Shantaya?
Yes, go on gallery view. You'll see Shantaya and Shekinah sitting together on the purple couch.
I've been feeling full creative unleash, which is something that I've been praying for.
Yeah.
I think that has something to do with donating the Ganesha portal painting to heaven. That opened a portal for you.
Well, Ramana, would you have something you want to talk about? You want to talking about what you're talking about, or anything else?
Well, I
I
wasn't
do.
complete.
I have several things.
Shantaya wasn't done
Oh,
with what she wanted to say.
I didn't understand.
Shantaya, go ahead.
Oh.
Thank you. Sometimes it takes some spaciousness for me to communicate, especially in group environments and Zoom meetings. I'm experiencing some like visceral effervescence in our community and our immediate household. And it feels like this contagious, bubbly creativity. And it's expanding my heart every day. And my capacity to fully receive it and allow it to move through me. And I love our life.
I love your life too. What was that guy?
He's doing a Zumba class over there.
Ramana, Are you complete? Or if you
Yes.
just listen, and then, hold on a minute. I love this idea of letting us all just be quiet for a moment. If you're just being quiet and feeling there's something else coming through, is that the case?
I feel so much gratitude for my partnership with Dustin.
Mm.
I feel like we've reached this new level of like sweetness and unconditional support and love and clear sight of one another that feels like it's expanding every day. And it's been the greatest teacher of my life, our love. I'm so grateful. And your love with Rashida, your partnership, has been an impeccable model of this love and the depth of selflessness and commitment you guys hold for one another. And I love you both.
I got a double dose of really good example. You've heard enough about Virginia, my mom, to get the idea about her. And because I had a father that basically was non-existent, he didn't know how to engage or be emotional or anything. I had a blank space there. And then Vision shows up and he comes in that space, just like it's a setup. So a perfect example of that. And also within this life we're living. So I feel amazingly grateful for this life that I'm just walking through. I can't say have experience I'm doing anything. I'm just living it out. Should we move on now to Romana? What would you like to talk about?
I wanted to share my experience in Darshan. Before Darshan, I light some incense and candle, and I do my form of arti before my Dharma wall and before your picture. I've been doing that for some time now. And yesterday morning, the Dharma wall spoke back. And I had an experience of more gratitude than I've ever felt in the realization that came over me of how fortunate I have been. And as I looked into your eyes and made connection with you, I felt that I understood for the first time why God gave us a guru, because I, for one, needed to love you for the last 50 years during my journey on earth. And I was clear, and I am clear, that I wouldn't have made it this far without your grace and your love. And I felt the whole Dharma wall come alive with that same love and gratitude. And it was overwhelming. Every time I think, every time I observe myself thinking, it couldn't possibly get any better, it explodes and multiplies. And the light shines forth from our hearts in such moments of such ecstasy. And I saw how far that light goes, and it never ended. It never ends. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. And Chantai is right. It's contagious, and one can catch it just by being in your presence, even for a short time. That seed of love is planted in each soul that you have met in your entire lifetime, whether you know it or not. But I have a feeling you do. And I don't know how you can contain your joy in one body, even though it's a fairly large body. I can't imagine how you sustain such an incredible light. It can only be God. And I'm so glad that God created the guru, without which we would all be lost. And not one, but an entire wall full, an entire wall filled with gurus of note, of worthiness, of great grace, enormous compassion, and infinite love. This I wanted to try to share in words what cannot really be said in words. That's my best effort. Thank you, Mershit, for
You're
everything,
welcome.
for everything.
I'm very grateful to be able to do what I do. I'm very grateful for the life I've lived and what it's turned into. And I'm very grateful for this partner and us birthing the culmination, the fruition of what we came here to do, which is the Clear Light Tantra. If you remove sexual dysfunction from the people on this planet, just this one idea, every wars disappear, arguing disappears, shooting disappears, and all kinds of things that are just the things that make us happy, the things that cause us to say, oh, that's really beautiful. That takes its place. Just this one little thing, sexual dysfunction. You know, I know some people, if you talk like this, they'll think, oh, you mean he orgasms too soon or something like that. That's not what this, that's like a little bitty piece of what we call sex. Does a man know what he is? Does he clearly have an ideal of what a man could be? Does he, in whatever way happens for him, does he hold that in his consciousness? And his sole purpose in life is to become that which is the perfection of what he sees. And then a woman, ditto. And we never talk about stuff mostly, but that pretty much rings a bell. Is that? So in the real world, people aren't working on their relationships. They're working on themselves. And they're enjoying the beauty of what they're becoming in the mirror of their perfect partner. And there's something that draws people to people, like something draws you to a certain partner, or maybe it's them, maybe it's how they look, maybe it's nothing you can put your finger on. They just show up and they're there all the time. And it's the most perfect place to be able to live your ideal because it's your mirror. Your mirror. So just having that opportunity of a mirror, and then if you if you if you're at the place where you share the same ideals, you just help each other become everything that you could imagine being, and help the world do everything you can together to create a world that for every child, they're protected. Their innocence is protected, and the world is exactly like it's supposed to be. And the big people don't appear as crazy. Lana, thank you for that. Do you have more you'd like to talk about?
I do. I have a
Okay.
question. I have a question for the sound people. I have a cassette tape. I only have one copy of this cassette tape. It's the same cassette tape that Mercer gave me when he came to Hawaii. And it has the Vajrasattva mantra on it, said by a monk. And he told me, learn this mantra and move back to the States mainland. So I learned the mantra from this tape. And I want to know, can somebody be trusted to make a copy of this monk singing the Vajrasattva mantra onto a CD for me? If I mail it to heaven?
Yes.
And if you don't want to take the risk of mailing it, like it get lost in the mail, you can put it on a boom box and turn it on, and then take your phone and put it in front of the speaker and record it yourself. And that might sound funky, but you'll be shocked at the quality. You won't be able to tell the difference between what you imagine professional quality to be.
I think I'd like to send it to the sound studio.
Well, you're welcome to do that. And I wasn't trying to talk you out of it, but I didn't know if you knew what I just said.
Yeah, I think I'd like the CD cut there.
Ramona, I have the capability to do that, although I don't have a way to make CDs here, but I can get it to you in a digital format, or I can email it to you.
What would we have to be able to make CDs here?
An external CD writer and some blank CDs.
Yeah, but we can get that if that's relevant. I think in my life, nobody uses CDs anymore. Everything's streaming now. So is
And
the
the other,
idea of making a CD important? Because I haven't had a CD player for years, maybe decades. I guess would you feel better if it were on CD, or would you just like it mastered?
I I have a CD drive. We may be able
Oh,
to
good.
write on it.
All right.
and the other side of this CD, on the other side of the tape, is the English Guru Gita, sung by Michael. And if I could get 2 CDs, one of that and one of the Vajrasattva mantra, and a digital copy in an email as well, that would make me so happy.
Digital copy.
And a digital copy as well.
Both.
Both.
It's on both sides of the tape. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We love to take care of a little project like that. And that reminded me of something. It was something I wanted to share with all of you. And I came out of my time with Yogi Bhajan and his community called Healthy, Happy, Holy Organization 3HO with a bunch of, back then, the cutting edge technology was cassette tapes. So I came back with a bunch of cassette tapes because I heard him make a joke where he said, my name is Yogi Bhajan, and Bhajan is singing. And he says, I have a terrible voice and I can't sing. So the way the Shakti dealt with that was to produce all these people who came to me who made beautiful music. And it's so true. The people that came to him, they took what they were receiving from him and they put them into songs. And so there was one particular cassette that was my favorite, and it's the Woman cassette. You know that one, Romana?
I do.
Gorilla, you know that.
Yes.
Yeah. So a while back when Sheikha, there was somebody who wanted Sheikha, not Sheikha. When Sheikha, I'm going to call her Sophia. I get confused calling her by a title because it's not about that. So when Sophia was really close to me and wanting to be one, she ended up caretaking, things like that. And recently asked her for a recording, a digital copy of that, and she just ignored me. She didn't even bother to respond. So it came up again, and I'm thinking, do any of you have a copy of that tape? Or Ramana, is that something that's digitally recorded somewhere online? Do you remember the one I'm talking about? Let's see, you're
I
muted.
vaguely remember a CD called Woman. I don't have any copies of any of that anymore. I don't have it.
I remember one line from it that just plays in my brain randomly a lot, and that is, when a woman falls, a civilization falls, and when a woman rises, God rises, the world rises. It's just one line out of one song.
Yeah, I remember that.
If anybody could figure out if somebody must have made digital copies of those a long time ago, and those be
3HO
available
Internet.
online.
I would ask
Maybe.
3HO International.
Okay, will you do that for me?
Sure.
Thank you. Let's see. Think of it. You have something you'd like to talk about tonight?
The last 2 days have been very interesting for me because there's been a lot of success and things that my avatar has always wanted happening almost instantaneously, but I feel the most still and empty that I've ever been, to the point where I feel like I could flip outside of this. I probably am without even knowing it. More than ever before. Like there's less of me here and there's more of me here than there's ever been before. So that's where I'm at.
You dangled a part of so far.
Hmm?
What's the last sentence you said?
That's where I'm at.
Now, what if you said that's where I am?
That's where I am.
Which sounds funny.
It is.
You know, I read an art, dangling participles. I don't know why, but I always hear it kind of like scratching your fingers on the chalkboard. But I read an article recent, I don't know, maybe about 4 months ago. It said it's people do it so much it's being accepted as okay in the English language and not badly English. I still think that where I'm at and where I am is a completely different feel to it. I feel like where I am in sound part of the language, it resonates in the heart and out of the heart. Would you be interested in doing an exercise? You witness your mind? I would, I mean, that's my experience of you. So would you be interested in doing an exercise where you put that idea, I'm going to use the alternative communication method of saying the same thing without dangling a participle, and see if you can go through maybe 40 days, 3 months, 6 weeks, whatever you decide, where a day goes by where you don't dangle one.
Does that mean not ending the thought with a
What's the answer to that question? You understand our question?
Yeah, but a participle is something specific in the English language. You could read about it and brush up on your English grammar. That people will say, trying to think of another example. A lot of people will say for at the end of words unnecessarily. At is super common. If you were saying formal English, it'd be something more like at which I am focused instead of I am focused on or I'm focused at. So there's a formal way of constructing the sentence without doing that dangling participle. And there is something more grounding and rooted in the proper way to say it. I think it's interesting for you to study it.
I'm just feeling to let go of this completely. Forget I said anything. I can't forget that, but as far as doing an exercise,
Yeah.
it would be hard to do it because it's not something you even ever learned about. I'm getting the idea you never, I'm 80, so I went to school in a completely different time. And things that were important for the teachers to communicate to students, you wouldn't even know they're the same planet. So I'm thinking I'm hearing with a world of different ears.
Here's a word. Did you ever conjugate the sentence?
what does that mean?
Yeah, so Shantai is saying yes. So it's not completely lost. Shantai knows what the word conjugate means when you conjugate the sentence. Anyway, they're just fun little diagrams of taking apart a sentence and putting them in their spots. It's fun for puzzle minds like mine. Like this.
Sure. I love that you're doing this on the treadmill. That's the best. And we're gonna have two here really probably tomorrow, the next day. And other people can do them on the treadmill. That's such a great idea.
Yeah, that's exciting.
If you got anything to talk about, I'm sure you can talk about things even better when you're walking on the treadmill.
I saw the future of heaven, of what it could look like.
You want to fill that in?
Yeah, and it's colorful. Walls are painted bold, beautiful colors.
It sounds like shaking up.
What does it
Is that
smell
right?
like?
Shaking this house.
Yeah, with gorgeous, clean colors, intentional spaces every inch. And I got to visit a house that looks just like this.
Oh,
That is what I'm. That is which. One second. Which one he is focused on.
Dangle a participle. He made something up. It was pretty cute.
oh yeah, they're focused on them. Because to make that good English, you'd have to go to something that actually, in today's language, sounds awkward. Something on which to focus. And that's, nobody talks like that anymore. So,
Rudra yogis do.
He said Rudra yogis do. He said Rudra yogis do. Talk like that.
I think I talk like that sometimes.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.
And they're matching. They're matching shirts.
Oh.
Shut up and matching clothes.
And I'm matching too. I'm wearing red too.
Yep.
Greta, what would you like to talk about tonight?
I'm just liking to be silent and listen. Thank you.
I'm kind of that way too. Saraswati, what would you like to talk about tonight?
She doesn't have anything. Sleepy.
She doesn't have anything.
Wow.
She's sleepy.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, what? I know you've got a lot to talk about. So let me talk to Clint. Let me ask Clint first.
Nice. So I can go
Clint,
enjoy this.
you have anything you want to talk about? You said no. Well, now you will walk the other way. Well, we got Rashida.
Shaking up.
Yes,
Shaking up.
ma'am.
Jim.
Yes,
We haven't asked Jim. I don't think.
Jim, didn't I ask you first?
Oh, maybe you did.
Yeah, kinda.
Well,
I
so,
don't have anything to talk about.
all right, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Shaking has something.
Maybe she had, did you hear the last thing she shared with us? I'd love to hear
I
more
think
from
Shantaya
Shaken.
and Shekina are sitting close, and they're so close, and they're like a one being. And maybe you didn't know that two bodies have expressed.
I can see that.
Shaking told me she had something to tell me in Dharma Night.
Oh,
Ah,
Is now a good time for me to express a evolution of Om's website manifestation?
your website?
Her website.
Raman's, she's helping her with it.
So I discussed with my friend who does website design what it would look like for us to tag team Romana's website and archiving her materials, and what seems to be the best course of action is for us to all work together as a triad and like hop on a call, maybe start with like a 3-hour call where we like do a deep dive on like what needs to be done, and then move week by week from there, delegating like how much time things would take to upload. Sometimes there might be like 6 hours of work a week, sometimes there might be like 2 hours of work a week. My friend and I both felt that if we were to do a currency exchange for this, what would feel good to allow us to build this for Romana would be $80 an hour each, so that we could both assist in creating that quickly with ease, peace, and grace. So that is what I have to share. Is I talked with my friend Delphine. She is open and interested in this project from receiving Om's aura as well, which I think is very important.
Are they ready to start right away, or have
As
they
soon-
talked yet?
They both have not talked.
Yeah,
Actually.
wouldn't that be the next step?
Yes.
Nothing. You've been talking about wanting to do our website for a long time. I figured it would come, didn't know how.
I don't have that funding.
Do you have more you want to talk about?
That was something that we discussed a few weeks ago, is that you thought that this is something that could potentially be provided by the nonprofit to fund Romana's website building.
She and
Delphine.
would feel good to receive $80 an hour
I
for
heard
their
that.
work. And she's referring back to, could the nonprofit fund it?
So when only you and me know that you presented me with a proposal about the painting, which I thought was brilliant. If you give me $10,000 for the painting, then I can establish myself as an artist, and the value of my work has a monetary value. Look, I sold that last one for that, and this one's much better, something like that. So, in my thought, I've always had money come to me, or money around me, or wealth around me that just mirrors my inner state. I just look at it all as energy. So I've shared before that I had this immediate feeling like we were the same person. And so the reason, I didn't ever say it, but the reason I thought that would be brilliant is because then you would be able to do that yourself. In other words, it'd be two of us. So that fund you have now is like your creative fund. Because the way I am, whatever walks in my door, it's not just a phrase to me that everything comes from God and everything goes to God. It's like literally my own intention is so clear and so simple that I know that anybody who walks in that door is there for that. I know God sent them to me.
So focus on the magnetism.
Yeah, I sent out a communication from a woman about her relationship with God, and I know you read it, or was it a listening thing? Was it reading or listening? I think it was reading. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Was it reading or listening?
reading.
And did you read it? It moved me more than anything I've read in as long as I can remember. And the experience of how in her daily life, she relates this big idea that we call God. She presents it in such a simple or natural, loving way, but also just like like a mother might be talking about her children. Like, oh, and we did this and Johnny did that. And, oh, we went there and then, oh yeah, and she did, like that. It would just be part of your consciousness and like it were real. That's it, like it were real. And so it moved me because that's my experience of God. I always thought that God was a pretty big idea. And I remember having the thought, I'm sure I'm not the only one, having the thought, well, if God were real, then why would Earth be so fucked up if he's the creator and all that? I'm sure we've all had that thought. And then what is God? People talk about it, but who knows what that really is? And then also, can anybody other than God know God? Just different as we live life, sometimes just different ideas about things. So that's how we figure stuff out. It's just by looking at every idea that shows up and letting it circulate. And it's not like each idea is a piece of the puzzle. It's more like each idea is like a sandpaper that removes what shields us from knowing ourselves. Because it's certainly true that every question is like an acorn where there's a hard shell and inside there's a little meat. Well, squirrels know that. And that's true about every question. Inside of every question, there's an answer. And so all that has to happen is, and silence works great for this. In fact, the sound of silence, that thing I usually refer to as a white noise between the ears, the sound of silence is the ultimate sandpaper removal of doubt. Like, I don't know. I want to say something about the yoga. Am I getting off of whatever somebody was talking about here?
I think you're talking about,
I can talk more.
yeah, you're talking about manifesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just say a little bit about, I mentioned before that the yogic path that we are on has a lineage. And I've mentioned this maybe one time that the the essence of the practice of every esoteric path, esoteric means inner in Greek, every esoteric path is what in yoga people are, what Yogi Bhajan told us is the word Kundalini yoga. Kundalini. But Yogi Bhajan, to me, isn't a yogi. I mean, he's a great yogi, but anybody who masters himself according to any esoteric tradition is a great yogi or a great Sufi or a rose by any other name smells the same. The lineage of yoga that I was taught and understand is Kashmiri Shaivism. And there's a beautiful drawing that presents in symbols all of the knowledge of this path of yoga, Kashmiri Shaivism. Basically, it's a non-dualistic philosophy, means like clear understanding. It's a non-dualistic, clear understanding of what all this is. In fact, there it is. Mm-hmm. Now, is there ways that people on Zoom can see that?
I will join on my phone and show them that way. I think that's the easiest
Okay, great.
way.
He's going to show you in a little bit. And one of the part on this chart that I want to mention is that it's like a prism. That's how it's described by the people that taught it to me. Like a prism in the middle. And that's that, the one above the dark ball and below the pink and blue ball, that part. And it has 5 qualities. So if what is above that, Arba Shiva would be the one that can't be spoken. And then the opening of beginning of manifestation, where 2 are separating but are still one. And then a little further, without going into detail, and then they're separate. So the world is ready to manifest. And then the qualities of limitation. You have to have limitation to go from unmanifest, infinite, to manifest, structured. In other words, limitation doesn't have to be a bad word. It could just mean a way that organization occurs, where certain things go this way, certain things go that way, certain things you don't use, they're over here in the building box, and certain things you do, and then you have what you made. So those 5 qualities are what allows the world to come into, you could say, physical reality. If we being understanding physical to mean every kind of physical and not just, the place where it feels like the molecules aren't there and actually your arm is solid. Isn't it? What an illusion. Anyway, hopefully we all went to high school and at least learned, we're mainly a bunch of space. So those 5 limiting factors that bring the creation into focus are I'm translating This is kind of a pop translation of the Sanskrit. I need, I can't, I don't know, time, meaning the little boxes on the hillside, the little boxes, and space, dividing the world in perception through time, through consciousness, through time and space. I have no idea why I wanted to talk to you about that, but it just came up somewhere in that discussion.
Well, Shantaya,
Yes.
I can offer you and Delphine a percentage of any profits I make if you could build the website.
Do you mean shaken up?
Shaken Up and Delphine, because I don't have the funding for it. I could offer you a percentage of the profits that the website could bring in.
Well, it's not like a personal thing. We're a nonprofit thing, and that has certain usefulness, but it also describes that our purpose isn't to make a ton of money. It's important to have money to be able to do things, but otherwise, our purpose is to have as much money as we need to do anything any of us are given to see. Don't need to think about it that way. The next step is to put you in touch. Shantaya.
Shaken up.
Shaken Up
Shaken Up.
and Delphine.
I don't know why my brain.
Yes, I understand.
Shaken Up. The next step is for Romana to talk to Shakena's friend and see if that is a good fit. It's important that if this person is going to build your website, that there really be a soul connection. So you're really communicating a lot more than objects and ideas. And then if that checks out, the next step would you also start work together. And then as he wanted to get paid, whatever his timing is, he would just contact one of us to hold this fund. It's a creation fund. I thought about what you said earlier, the first thing about creation and creativity, like the pure creation fund. A lot of people here have benefited a lot from the pure creation fund.
I made a special drink for us
I
as well,
the drink.
and I'm trying to feel into good timing for that while also not waiting too much later into the evening.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect timing.
Yes, you are.
Bye bye
I think-
now.
Say that again, Garuda.
I need to leave, darling. Thank you so much.
All right. The man with the big list is gonna, you'll be saved from the big list. He showed it to me. It was like 3,000 words long. So
But I
Maybe he could send it to me.
yeah, he probably can sum it all up in one sentence.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We love having you. We see how happy all this is making you. I mean, this is like a happy pill that's just exploding in your body. This thing.
Thank you, darling.
Sunlight. It's
For the
sunlight.
happy pills. I love it.
Yeah, that's what Sangha is. Where the people that care about essence and living a life devoted to essence or source meet together, and there's just huge amount of honey. Like a honeycomb.
Gary and Sarah, would you like to join us down here for some cacao? Ooh.
No, thank you.
Would you like me to bring you some?
Okay, I'll come down. I'll come down.
Sarah, what about you? Want to join us for cacao ceremony? Ceremony, right? Yeah. I don't think, you must not be there anymore.
Very tired.
So, we're going to do the ceremony now, and we'll get to you.
And then Dustin, too.
Hmm?
And Dustin.
All right. The piano player. Is he back there?
Yes.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. I didn't have any, I used to have eyes here, but I lost them.
Isa,
night.
could I ask another question?
Eyes in the back of my head fell out.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Night, Ramana.
Good night, Ramana.
Isa, could I ask another question?
Sure.
Do you have any stories about, I know there were two different Sai Babas, not the one that is, I think, a little bit closer to your lineage. Not the one that's a little bit, I think, closer to your lineage. Not Sai Baba of Shirdi, but the other one, the one who's kind of associated with manifestation with the big afro. Do you have any stories of him?
I don't. I just know that in order to help people believe that something like an avatar or a fully conscious being who mastered himself is possible, he does manifest things, like he'll open his hand and there's some sacred ash in it, or he could even open his hand and there'd be a coin in it, whatever it is. That's all I know about him.
Prem,
We're gonna not drink we're gonna just hold on to the.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Wait, there's more. I'm just to put this down almost. So I do know he's a master, and I do know he is in India, and I wanted my daughter Lilu to be able to go to India, and her mom, and Murshida. And so somehow or another, I've got one here. Somehow or another, I organized it so they all went together. And they were able to go see Sai Baba. So that's also something about Sai Baba.
I guess I should ask Murshida then.
She said, I guess I should ask Rashida then.
That's right.
Our connection with Sai Baba of Puttaparthi, that's where he lived.
Where?
Puttaparthi.
That's a place?
That's a place.
Say it again.
Puttaparthi.
Sounds like a pizza party.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's north of, where, Patabi Joy, let's see, name of that town? Mysore, north of Mysore.
Okay, right now we're gonna pause and go into ceremony.
Is that right?
We'll make cacao special for our Lila, for our Clear Light Tantra Collective connection.
Yeah, please.
So cacao is a medicine of the heart. There's also, so it's made with oat milk. There's some rose powder, some cardamom, and some sea salt. And so I'd like everyone to take a sniff. And just taking the aroma. And yeah, the intention I want to offer for drinking together is deepening into our union and our in ourselves, in our couples, and in our collective, and for greater and greater harmony to be created within that. And I'd also like to ask you if you want to share anything based on what you wanted to follow up about.
Yeah.
Before we sip.
Yeah, where are those pages?
Right here.
Should we take a sip?
Right now, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I want to. So these are more ideas that are on my website. So I don't know if I want to talk more, but let's see.
Okay.
You go ahead. I like what's happening.
I would like us to tune in to the sensation that I was speaking to earlier altogether. The sensation of the effervescence of creative inspiration and the contagiousness of that, and the contagiousness of the field of expanding love. And just seeing if we can sense that in our bodies. And all that's already here, all of the gratitude for all that's already here. And then go ahead and take a sip.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, let's go. Wow.
Whoa. I've been to like one or two other cacao ceremonies, and I wasn't really excited about going to another one because I always thought the cacao was really weak. It wasn't exciting. This is exciting. I watched you make it. I thought, whoa! It really, it does what it's supposed to do. Yeah. A lot of people would equate mushrooms and herbs and cacao. It's definitely a living consciousness that integrates with the body, and that's why it became so popular. Everybody loves it, almost.
Rashida, would you like to say
I'm gonna.
anything about?
What she said.
Well, I want to know what you can say.
Well, I want to know what you were going to say. I already know. I've been thinking about this for decades. So I'm much more interested. I won't forget.
I don't have a thing. I feel more of a kind of a swoon I would call it. So it feels creamy and wavy like this.
Velvety.
The swoon feels creamy and wavy like this.
All right, well, let me see.
Well, it's worth asking just for that word. I like that word.
What I went over in the last meeting was a statement of purpose. Do y'all remember the statement of purpose? You remember the statement of purpose?
With the eye? The paper with the eye on it?
No, it's
Well,
it was the half.
the New Being Project, I have a website. You've been on my website because you
Yes.
referred to it in text one time that I knew. So on there is the statement of purpose. That's what I'm talking about. You want me to share that again or review it, or do you want me to talk about the next thing I was going to talk about? It's up to you.
Next thing.
Next thing, okay. And I already talked about this.
And things have fronts and backs.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure.
And I already did this.
Yes, we did that the first day.
That's what I did. And I've done this before, haven't
We
I?
did that. That was what we did the other night.
I did this and this, right? And done this, right?
Right, you haven't done that?
Oh, I think, is this the,
We haven't done this.
I have not?
No.
In the front and the back?
Mhm.
Oh, well, I'll do that, because I think what, I'm trying to, I hadn't looked at these pages since we've done, this looks like the Being Project book, so, or,
The manual?
yes, manual, see if you can figure out what all that is, but this would be good to do.
It's like a conversation.
Oh, these are the system papers.
Yeah,
This is all about system.
yeah, that's right. Have you shared this with your group? Well, is that part of it?
This
That's,
is upon far and
no, the
system.
graphic.
Everyone, I'm going to break in. I'm going to go say goodnight.
Okay,
Bye,
Have a
Brenda.
wonderful evening.
Thank you.
you know, I'm thinking
Thank you all.
it's 9:45, maybe we've already done enough tonight, we should just pick up here. But we did meet to talk about the stuff, so I think we should keep going.
Upon far, system, and the yes practice. That's the culmination of the yes practice.
Oh, right, that's, yeah,
The purity of my intention.
yeah. Well, there's two things there, it's called,
Karma-free teaching. And the yes practice.
yeah, it's the some teaching.
Karma-free.
Yeah, the karma-free teaching. That's the essence of it, right? Yeah. So, there's one of these for everybody, right?
Mhm.
Okay, let's give them out. I'll never enjoy cacao again if it's not at least this or beyond it.
I know. I feel the same way. It comes from the Valentine lineage.
We can do this
No one
anytime we
makes
want.
cacao like your family.
It looked pretty simple. Let me know if we're getting close to running out of cacao or sometime in the next 2 or 3 days. If it's gonna go. And I'll keep us
We got enough.
cacao.
I think the rose is a nice match with it too.
You know Christina? You know her name?
Christina,
I think she's in Costa Rica.
she's in the United States.
Sage.
Well, you know who I mean. She comes to your class sometimes. Or she out there.
Not so much right now, but anyway, she's in the United States getting ready for.
So, now, this looks like here's part of,
Yeah, okay, so see on the back here, after Clear Light Tantra, and you turn this over?
Yes.
Oh, wait, no, that's a complete thing, hold on.
It's after the. Cook with oil.
well,
I
I know
know
love
the
this so
layout.
much. This is, somebody came up to me and said, Julia, what is your secret? Oops, sorry. Yogi Bhajan Thakur. I would say this. It's just essence. This describes the way I deal with myself to be perfectly. And, you know, as far as I am aware, I'm pretty good at this. So I'm going to share this. I'm fully open. I am fully open. I need no boundaries. My intention is pure. My purity is my protection. I am my purity. I need no protection. I am. Sometimes when people say, well, we do need protection, and I say, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? I guess somebody would kill us. Well, would anything die? It's just, if we obviously understand that we don't die, but the body dies, and that raising the archetypes from their broken, darkened, and low vibrational state is our job here on this planet, to make the world ideal of what a child can see that it should be, then this is the way to do it. In my experience, because when I wrote out the Karma-Free Teachings, which is on my website, it was a day where I had either been asked or was just coming to me to deconstruct my own state. Instead of thinking what is my state, or how did I get here, what am I like, just put it in the most ordinary terms, simple ordinary terms to anybody. So that is the essence of the karma-free teaching. If a person wants to live without getting caught in the web of preferences and aversions, the first step on a conscious life in yoga, if this is the way yoga thinks, is letting go of your preferences and aversions. I mean, we don't even think about it so much. And it's like if somebody says, well, you know, I don't feel good when I wear black. And somebody says, well, you know, it's okay to wear black, but that's what I feel like. And then you say, well, but you could feel something different. And then the next sentence would have to be, well, that's part of me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in a place that your identity is to any degree defined by your life here on earth or your body or experiences you've had or shaping you've gone through, because if you look at the parents, the big people that physically bring us here, in one way, if we look in one way, they're just these loving parents. We love our mom and our dad and blah, blah, blah. If you look at another way, they're the first executioners. Because their job is to close us down from the spirit being that we are and give us a mortal life in the body, a way to deal with that without having to think about it. You know, well, I don't want a spirit, but I got to remember, you know, like that. Just so it's natural. People call it natural. So it seems like at least the world that all of us have come into that are here in the room it's an important part of the purpose of this world for light to darken in a particular way and then find a way to shed the darkness, which doesn't mean letting go of anything. It just means opening the inner essence of what we are, which is light. The light never goes away, it just gets covered over. So when I was describing what it would be like, what would be a good way to describe the path to living without preferences and aversions, because it's really interesting exercise to or just get a piece of paper, put a line down the middle, put all your preferences on one side, all your aversions on another side, and then every day or so when you're going through your everyday life at that point, check back into it and see if you see others that you didn't think of at the time just because you didn't categorize it that way. And then at a certain point in the exercise, see if you can start dropping them. You know, not all at once, but just one at a time. And then see if another stage of the exercise is to see if you get to the point where the last one is there. And this sage, Ramana Maharshi, this was exactly his story. Just in different words. So, I am fully open. I need no boundaries. My intention is pure. My purity is my protection. So if your intention is pure, it's like what people on the path in India talk about. They want God realization, or some people say, if you're non-theistic, say awakening, or God realization. And then what I love so much about that lady's talk about what our everyday life is like. I've never heard the condition of God realization ever presented so clearly and simply, like even a child could understand it as that. So if your intention is pure, in the karma-free teaching, it's basically like Nancy Reagan, just say no, but instead you just say yes. And so what you look at is if there's only God, then everything comes for you is from God, and therefore you don't have to relate to it as something separate from you. It's something that is inside you and wants to have a relationship on the outside, which means to become again whole, become again whole. So if your intention is pure and you say yes, there's absolutely no way that something that is not good for you can come out of that yes. Because the reason we hesitate to say yes on some things is because it seems like we're putting ourselves in a lot of danger of psychological, emotional, or physical danger, or it's up in the air, or it'd be crazy to say yes like that. But if you're in a state of, if you know your purity, your intention is pure, nothing wrong can happen to you. And then if a person thinks, well, nothing wrong can happen to you. And if something happens that you say, well, I don't like that. It means that's what you need to experience. So there's a truth about this purity of no one needs boundaries. And if somebody will have the thought or bring up, well, you know, what if you're beaten to death or something, put yourself somewhere where you're killed, well, then you get to see if you're ready to shed your clothes without feeling naked. So I'm fully open. I need no boundaries. My intention is pure. My purity is my protection. I am my purity. I need no protection. I am. That's my, I guess in a more pop way of saying it, that's my philosophy. That's the way I think. The idea of boundaries, I think for anybody studied, you know, psychology to any degree, there's a certain intelligence behind having good boundaries and knowing what they are. So it's not like that. It's like if you're at a place where that's what you need to work on, you don't need to think about this. You need to think about that. But if you're not at a place where you need to think about having healthy boundaries and seeing how you don't have healthy boundaries and you get involved in really bad things that you keep repeating the same thing over and over again and not seeing any difference, Okay. Anybody have any question about that? Does that resonate?
Yes and yes. Is there an easy test for
Path?
test to discover whether your intentions are pure? In other words,
Hold on. I get it.
okay.
So, I experience you as pure and clear. And the more I get to know you, the more
She's friendly.
Sorry, Nicole. Hi.
the most
Hi.
Yeah, with the cow ceremony? Yeah, would you like some? I would like. Oh, I would, but I would be up late if I had. This is Nicole, everyone.
Hi, Nicole.
She was here the other night. She said I could just walk here. I hope
Yes, good,
Yeah.
please.
at the party, Nicole was the one
Drinks
who
and
didn't
food.
go on the bike ride. And we just sat here and,
No, I did go, but I came back early.
oh, is that it?
I
Well, I know that the only person that was there that night that I went deep with. We just sat right here and it was like falling underwater. It was just natural. I felt so close to this person that you said, Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
And she was sweet to Issa. Nice to come back to.
What do y'all want to do? Do you want to do something together, or do you want her to join us?
I
or-
just came to pick up my backpack, which I left on her birthday. And it has my work shoes in it, so I asked, hey, can I come just pick it up?
Awesome.
And then I'll be on my way. Yeah. I'll be right back. Okay.
She came to pick something up
I
that she
know, but
left
did you
here.
understand what it was?
Her
Backpack.
backpack.
Oh, I saw that back there for a long
Her
time.
backpack and some work shoes she has in the backpack.
Is there more of this?
Here you go, Issa.
Huh? What do you mean?
There's more.
You don't want it?
I never said that. You asked if there
I
was more.
want you to have it.
She poured most of that.
I want to know if there's.
I'm complete
Right,
with
right,
the
Dustin.
amount that I had.
The pot is
Okay,
complete.
yeah.
The cacao
So you
pot.
don't want it.
I didn't say that.
Okay,
We
but
could pour a little bit in here.
would it be true that you don't want it? Seems like to me you don't want it. If you wanted it, you'd say, I do want it.
I
And I'd
don't.
say, well, okay, I'm giving it back to you.
I don't want any more of it.
Right.
Right.
And who's gonna drink that?
Us.
I love that. That's really good.
Maybe I do want more. Who knows?
So,
Bye.
bye. Thanks for coming by, but come by sometime for no reason. And just, I feel so close to you, you can forget the door's there. Anytime you're around here and you have a thought, just walk in the door. You don't even need to tell anybody you're coming. I'm telling you, you're something special.
We have snacks.
Like, just sometimes the most pure thing is also the most simple thing. And the way you talk and the way you think and the way you feel, you can't tell there's any difference between them. It flows out of you just like sap flows out of a tree. That's my experience of you.
Thank you for that reflection.
You're welcome.
And for mirrors.
You're welcome. All right. So do you accept my reality about the door?
I do, and I probably would still text you. Because
She
I
would?
live far.
She said, I do, and
I heard
I will
that.
probably still text you.
Because
Okay.
she lives
Because
far.
I live far.
Yeah, but you're only doing it for you.
Okay.
You gotta realize if you're doing it for me,
Uh-huh.
that means you want to make me happy, right? You wouldn't do it if you didn't want. And it made me happy if you forget the door. I mean,
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's
Okay.
not preference. In other words,
Okay.
that's the world I want to live in.
Okay.
I want to live in a world where
Yeah.
people that are one in the heart, one in the light,
Uh-huh.
they can just pass in and out of each other without.
Well, if it'll make you happy, then okay. I
I,
have a friend that lives down the street.
yeah,
And I see her all the time. Her and him, Luce and Tony. You've met Luce. Do you remember Luce?
I do.
Yeah. Adorable Hispanic woman.
It's a
Nicole-
friend or it's her.
Nicole founded a women's circle that I've been attending for the past year or so. And Luce was in that circle. And I know Nicole from Liberty Arising, where we met the same day I met Dustin.
Yeah,
Isn't that
I
amazing?
remember that. Now, so you occasionally have a friend over, and then one time you had a friend over, and I remembered, only thing I could remember is she said she kind of lived close to here. And I said, that person's got something. She's very interesting. You think she'll be coming back? You said, well, eventually she'll come back. Is that her?
No, but it's my sister.
Your sister?
My
Oh.
sister, not my blood sister, but my heart sister.
Well, you're cut out of the same cloth.
Exactly. Yes, you exactly nailed it.
Terrific.
Okay. Well, I gotta go home before I turn
Okay.
into a pumpkin. I gotta work at 8 tomorrow. So, okay. Love
You
you.
gotta do the
Thank you
work.
for letting me come by.
Because
I
she's
heard
working at 8 in the
Oh,
morning.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
What work do you do?
Agreed. I'm a recruiter.
Recruiter?
Cool.
What do you recruit?
Or
Senior accountant, controller, senior buyer, office manager, administrative assistant,
media buyers.
customer service. No medium buyers yet.
In other words, a company hires you and you do the recruiting they need because you're an
Yes,
expert.
we're a staffing company that recruits for other companies.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
So you could recruit anything. It's just
Honestly, yeah.
you
I
need to
think
know
so.
what they want you to recruit.
Yes, exactly. Have a conversation, get to the heart. Hey, what is it that you're looking for? What personality traits? What's the culture? What's hard skills, education?
How did you get there? How did that happen?
Well, that's the story for another day, but
Okay, another day is
This is a
fine.
long journey, but basically,
You didn't get a PhD in recruiting at Yale.
no, my first sales job was selling gym memberships at a gym and yoga studio. Remember Ginseng Yoga in South Park? I was telling you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to be assistant manager there, and then 6 months. Get this is amazing. 6 months before COVID. I got a job recruiting traveling nurses.
Okay.
Wow. 6 months before COVID hit, and then boom, everybody needs nurses. And I'm like, fuck yeah. You know, I mean, like I felt it like such a purposeful job. Like, oh, everything's closed down, no one's going anywhere. I can work and like it's meaningful. My nurses went all over the country, ICU, ER, med-surg tele. You know, it was like super amazing, and they were getting paid really well, and people were like, you know, valuing them, you know, and they worked really, really hard, but they got really well paid for it.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
So that's how I got into recruiting.
All right.
Yeah. That's the short story.
8 o'clock's gonna come.
I
pretty
know.
soon.
I know it's 10:08, and it'll take me 30 minutes to get home. So, you know, send me good like dreams and
30.
deep sleep.
You said it takes you 30 minutes to get home?
From here. Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live in Hillcrest, just above Balboa Park.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know that part.
Yeah, it's amazing. One block from the Hillcrest Farmers Market.
Oh.
Yeah, with my golden retriever.
I've lived in San Diego 3 different times, so I know where that is.
Awesome. Okay.
It's like a foreign country now. A person could say New York. I haven't been there in so long, but
yeah.
It's really.
So
All right,
funny.
we'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon. Okay, okay.
Good night, Nicole.
Good night.
Yeah, Clint, it's like New York, a foreign country.
Didn't she
Yeah.
Splendid.
Yeah, her tone of voice.
Mhm.
Sue, what were you gonna say?
She's very sweet.
Sweet, yes.
Open, you know?
Huh?
She
Open.
feels open.
Yes. Simple in the most beautiful way that word can be. Just like a 5-year-old could talk that way. So that was great. So I was just about to answer your question, and then all that happened. And so
Do you feel like she was the answer?
She provided the answer.
she clearly answered. When I asked Marshita what she felt, she said something exactly like that. Everybody said the same thing. We all saw it. So your question was, how can I know if my intention is pure?
Yeah, I just meant kind of
I understand. I just want to
philosophically,
know.
like, is there like a test for like
I'm asking. Yeah, there is.
seeing it in other people and
Yeah, I'm about to say it. I just want to know if I got the question right. Did I get the question right?
Mhm.
Shantaya, is your intention pure? Look in your heart and tell me, is your intention pure?
yes.
That's how you can know. Now you know forever, because that's not something you're working on.
But it's also like clouded sometimes. Distracted.
Give me an example.
Like there's times where I'm feeling confused, or there's times when I've felt.
Well, that doesn't mean if you're confused about something, it means that life has presented something in front of you that you don't have the software to evaluate. So you're getting the message does not compute like that. And so then that creates a time where you learn what you need to learn, we download what you need to learn to be able to not be confused, to be able to see clearly. It's just part of how we expand or grow in life. That has nothing to do with the purity of your intention.
Can I ask in another way then? Is everyone's intention pure?
No.
Whose intention isn't pure?
Well, it's a beautiful thought. And I'd have to leave my body. I'd have to go out of my body into what we call the intellect to say, of course, yeah, of course. I don't want to go there. I'm just staying right here in my body. And I would just say, it would just depend on the person. I can't say that.
I mean, I think some people have hidden agendas because
Right.
they have not worked on themselves enough to respect themselves and to love themselves and to not fear the outside world because of that mirror. And then therefore they have hidden agendas to try to control out there so they don't get hurt, and maybe so they pile up more for themselves to feel more secure, something like that. It all reflects back on how much work you've done, and have you ever gotten to that point where you respect yourself and love yourself to have a pure intention? I think it has to do with that.
That's a great answer. Wow, that was the best discussion we've ever had at Dharma Night. That's really important. It's the most important thing. Well, we have Yeshua. And before I get to Yeshua, I got one question I want to ask. What's going on with that half glass of cacao there?
Pure is full.
Are you looking for somebody that will take care of that for you so you don't feel guilty?
Looking to
You
be
left
a
your
plumber.
food on your plate so the children
In Africa?
are starving because of you. Yeshua.
Do you want your cacao, baby?
Sick girl.
I called out for you. I didn't hear it. I have it right here. I was gonna save it for you in the fridge too.
What's going on right now? You know what's going on.
Saraswati came down for her cacao, and Shantaya saved some for her, saved hers for her.
Yeah, bless. So nice.
Do I do a toast? Toast to the perfection of love in an ordinary, stupid life.
I thought you might say
Simple.
love, harmony, and beauty.
Okay, love, harmony, toward the one.
Toward the one.
The perfection of love, harmony, and beauty. The only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the spirit of guidance. So that opens a different door.
Opens a different door.
And there's more to that. And I'll pick it up with you later.
Saraswati thought she was just coming down for a glass of cacao.
What do y'all think Jim is doing? Who's he talking to?
Yeah, sits there and chants.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Who are you talking to, Jim?
I'm singing.
I'm singing. I love that. Talking to God.
That's true.
Okay. Yeshua, what are you going to talk about?
I want to talk about the beautiful opportunity that I was given during Dharma Night to allow everything that I originally intended to want to talk about to be refined and to be distilled and to share it in a way that is precise and with brevity.
Oh.
But it may still be a couple of minutes. So.
What was the lesson?
I said, and.
You're not talking, like you get on your last sentence of an idea, you tend to drop your volume and speed up. Have you ever noticed that about him? Shaking up?
Oh my gosh, you're like a little waiter.
Okay.
Okay. Over the last couple of days, as I've been spending my time at the warehouse, and I've been able to really move through things with a really present, neutral mind, I hear your voice and the voice of a few other people say, sit down, it's time to write. And so I sit down, and I be quiet, and I shared what I wrote last night, and I want to share what I wrote tonight, which almost everything I wrote about tonight was referenced at some point through one another of tonight's Dharma.
I'm not shocked, and it's always amazing.
To open your arms to God.
Do you mind, in this case, I'd like for you to stand and speak with a punch and express with panache.
Panache.
And be very intentional in doing it. Like there's an audience of 400 people here, and there's no amplifier or microphone. You're in a place with no electricity.
To open your arms to God is to merge one's individual consciousness to universal consciousness through the vehicle of relations to all beings as group consciousness. To be held and to hold the emptiness of creation as the self dissolves with the conscious maturing of the ego, that which grants us the ability to have this human physical experience with divine will as the soul fully descends into union. To love one another through their perspective is the ability to see God in all things and open one's heart to understand the quantum entanglement of light that is in its essence nothing, space, and everything.
I like that. Read that sentence 2 more times. That's a great sentence.
To love one another through their perspective is the ability to see God in all things and open one's heart to understand the quantum entanglement of light that is in its essence nothing, space, and everything. To love one another through their perspective is the ability to see God in all things and open one's heart to understand the quantum entanglement of light that is in its essence nothing, space, and everything. Death gives one the opportunity to see clearly that death gives one the opportunity to see clearly that we were never, that we are, I see. Death gives one the opportunity to see clearly that we are and never were less than our own divine existence. If death is an illusion and a concept, then all that remains is birth, perfection. To be in a state of Dzogchen and the non-dualistic mind, one sees the opportunity and light from a neutral state of mind and being. The path of the great mystery lies in the unknown yet known silence of that which we are beyond form, time, and mind. A drop of the ocean remembering its formless nature flowing through the heart of existence, guiding oneself home to everything and nothing. The root of all evil is the very thing that shines the brightest light for humanity to move towards the age of love and harmony. The root of all evil is the very thing that shines the brightest light for humanity to move towards the age of love and harmony, allowing the illusions and constructs of the mind and the collective consciousness to return to a state of homeostasis. By allowing oneself to open to the wonderment of our primal essence and core navigational center, we become all that we can. By allowing oneself to open to the wonderment of our primal essence and the core navigational center, we become and are that we can live in the access of unlimited creative potential to solve, digest, observe, and be with any quote unquote problem, limitation, and challenge. Here, in the essence of Vajrasattva, she speaks.
Very nice.
Nice. Thank you.
That's Raven.
Oh,
That was amazing. I love
Thank
that.
you. And then there's one song that I want to sing really quickly.
oh, you can't do that here. Not here.
Okay.
You can't say something quickly. You could.
No
We would
constraints.
love it if you would sing a song for us.
I would love to sing a song for everyone.
I'm not sure why you thought you needed to do it quickly. Let's see, if I said, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Was there a little place in you that felt like you were taking up too much time? When you were a child, did people tell you to stop playing around, just say what you fucking mean?
I used to always run away as a kid. I ran away.
That's easy to understand.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to hear a song.
It's short.
Oh, if it were long, it wouldn't be any different.
Okay. God help me. God help me. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way, the way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way, the way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. Know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way, the way knows, the way knows, the way knows, the way. The way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way, the way knows, the way knows, the way knows, the way.
You said it was going to be short. That was a lot, really long. You got everybody else saying that's a trick, right? That you can't blame it on you, guy, because you said short.
That song was inspired by the post that you shared with me about the woman's discussion about what she explained her relationship and perspective on God.
Wow, thanks for telling me that.
You wrote that?
That song?
Now, are you going to record that in the recording studio?
Yes.
Oh, good. You going to do a website? Do you have a website?
You gonna get a website for this song?
It's a yes or no question.
I know somebody
Was
in
it
charge of
was it
$8
was it a, are you gonna get a website?
I said, do you, Yeshua, Josh, do you have a website?
I do not have a personal website, no.
Yeshua
If
dot
you
life.
have-
Do you have
What?
a personal one?
Yeshua.life.
I have 0 websites.
Well, if you ever get one, you can put your song on it, like Ramana.
There's one other thing I would like to share. And that is that through a beautiful message from someone in Shekinah's circle, she shared with me a different way of relating to my name and to the
Yeshua.
name of Yeshua. And there's a different pronunciation and energy that I would like to move into, and that is Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Okay, done.
Yeshua.
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 Would you like to do the name ceremony that we did in our lightwork class?
Yes.
Okay.
Which
He's gonna stand before us. Which way is north? Anybody know?
north would be
That way. Okay.
this way.
So he'll be
It'll be a call and
Call and response, yeah.
Yeah.
to
This
all
is where
four
we both got our names probably 2 or 3 years ago. So
Would you guys mind unmuting on Zoom and joining us in a call and response name ceremony with Yeshua? If you're hearing this.
okay. Yesu.
Okay, I'll demo, and then you'll go, so everyone will get the hang of it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm saying, I am Shantaya, and then you're gonna say, you are Shantaya.
You are Shantaya.
I am Shantaya.
You are Shantaya.
I am Shantaya.
You are
Shantaya.
I am Shantaya.
You
You are Shantaya.
I am Shantaya.
I am Yeshua.
You are Yeshua.
I am Yeshua.
You are Yeshua.
I am Yeshua.
You
You are Yeshua.
I am Yeshua.
You
are Yeshua.
Oh,
Well, I guess you're Yeshua now.
Who are you?
Yeshua.
Yes.
Did the person who told you this, did they say anything else about the name, like meanings or anything?
Yes,
like that?
yeah. So he talked about the vibration of Yeshua versus Yeshua, and allowing the, and it comes from the Arabic, and there's certain vibrations that come through speech in those languages that aren't necessarily within the English language, and so connecting more to that essence within Yeshua.
There's a little.
Yes.
Now we can just get Jerry and Kalani on board. She can be.
All right. Now, you have more to share with us. Practical things.
I can.
Absolutely not.
Oh, I think then I will just riff through my notes, and most of this can be discussed at our POA meeting, but they are just thoughts that were refined, and I will distill them in the way I wrote them. instead of moving towards the truck, the work truck, I'd like to look into a CNG truck, which is a different type of fuel source for a work truck. I talked to Jerry and Okalani about relocating the hot tub to the Escondido property or to the warehouse.
Mhm.
We talked about in this Dharma Night sexual energy conversation. I read my journal. I had a beautiful time getting to meet the whole Steamatic team and understand their vision for the space and everything that they're creating there and being
Which
involved.
team?
That's the water remediation company that
Say
Okalani.
the word again.
Steamatic.
Say it again.
Steamatic.
Like steam?
Like steam mat.
Steaming?
Yes.
Like that?
That's the name of their company.
Oh, it's a company.
Yep.
And so is it more like steam or is it more like steamatic? Because you got two
That-
ideas there touching.
That
Does
I
it
would,
have to do with any of that?
I would have to ask Okalani or Jerry for the correct.
What is it?
All right.
Some schematic, what does that mean?
So can we just pause on that one? So you said that sexual energy, remind me, I didn't complete that thought. It's not going to complete thought. So the idea was if there's no sexual dysfunction among creatures on the planet, there isn't wars and all that stuff that's we don't like. So sometimes where I stopped was things, sometimes when people talk about sexual dysfunction, they're thinking of, fucking and techniques and that kind of thing. For me, it's about what I led off, what came to be known as, because it truly is, the Clear Light Tantra meeting where we founded the Clear Light Tantra Collective because it had come to be. And because of the way Yogi Bhajan set me up, I knew it immediately, and so I was able to take the next step. So I led off that meeting with a simple idea that if people are in relationship, it doesn't mean if people have problems and they're working on the problems to be the best people they can be or help each other work stuff out, that's not relationship. They're not in relationship. It's a work party. It's not bad or good. It's just what it is. Because relationship is like blue is blue. Blue's never bluish. Blue's never trying to be blue. Relationship just means a state of harmony and union. So how could you ever have a problem? Now, that was completing that thought. So Nick, continue on your list and just mention the last one again.
The last one was I got the opportunity to meet a lot of the members from that business, especially Okalani. I got to spend nearly 6 or 7 hours with him today, and
he's amazing.
Yeah, we had only really ever met once, and that was at that table that one day. And it was for a few minutes. So I got to
so special there.
Yeah, I got to learn a lot more about what their vision for the space is and how we can work together. And it feels that the triad of Jerry, Okalani, and I are working very cohesively, and it feels really,
Almost like it's a setup, huh?
yeah,
Who could
like a
imagine?
big setup. Like the big juicy setup.
Mm-hmm.
Juicy.
Mm-hmm.
There was a member, an admin of their team who saw a vision. He works closely with Camp Pendleton and saw a beautiful opportunity to work with, he gave me, or is going to give me a contact at Camp Pendleton to go provide veterans and different people of military service maybe a day or a weekend to go bring a large amount of bikes out there for all of the different people of service to ride the bikes.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
So that was really just a unique connection.
Yeah. I have it's like a conscious habit, like we always say, well, habits aren't a good thing to have. And if they're unconscious, that means it could be better. But if it's conscious, you can make conscious habits, and basically you're taking the buggy operating system or modus operandi that you got from the big people just by not knowing what was going on and just absorbing stuff without being able to. I used to, when we used to have these huge courses at Liberty. I remember a super course, there were over 50 people to it, and they were all sleeping up in the dorm. But I would ask each one, what is I know it. If you knew then what you know now, what percentage of unfiltered stuff would you have let come in when you just were absorbing? You were littler. You were just absorbing. You didn't have any way to evaluate or think or any idea of what would be useful for you, what wouldn't, blah, blah, blah. What age would that be that you started having that ability to discriminate?
Fourth.
We're only born with purity. We're not born with discrimination. You said 4?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who said that? You did?
Probably 4 or 5.
I'm gonna say like 11.
Yeah, it took me longer.
I was a difficult child.
I would say the average was 7 or 8. What do you remember?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what would you say to make me talk about that? What did you say?
Do you
remember?
I brought up Camp Pendleton and working with the veterans.
Oh, yeah. So I love to develop conscious habits, but you can't just sit down and think, I think I want to develop a conscious habit today. It has to come up in your life and you realize the importance of something you could do that would be conscious or different, but would make it would be your ability to say what you think is important that is not being in the consciousness of everyday life, that if you talked about it, people would feel like you're lecturing them. So, example of that is the way I feel about our military. I'm quite aware that there are people that offer their life to protect me and the extraordinary way of life we have in this country that often everyone wants to look at what's wrong with it. There's nothing close to as advanced or evolutionarily pure in this world, even close, as this country. And some people experience that the origin documents are divinely inspired. And certainly the founders did. So one day I decided that I was going to, when I saw a person in uniform, I was going to go up to him and look him in the eye and say, "Thank you for your service, sir." And I started doing that. And I started doing it in Russia. That was where it hit me. I was in Russia. And you see much more people in uniform, at least then when I was in Russia. I'm not sure why I wanted to talk. Oh, you said service members. It made me think of that. I feel I feel like in just everyday, the life of everyday people and what is everyday people we experience, there's a certain place that so many people have gotten to where they have to think about going into the service and putting one's life on the line. I mean, you can really say that the point of conception, like that, and the point of death, it's exactly the same point. One is the spirit connects to a form, and one is it disconnects. We all know that, like in plugging things in, when it disconnects, it can have the same little reaction that it connects.
Like how the French call.
Hmm?
It's like how the French call the little orgasm, the
petit-
big orgasm.
Le
Death,
petit mort.
yeah, death is the big orgasm.
It is the big orgasm, all right. Yeah. So to live in a state like, the reason everybody's all about orgasm is because it's a point, it's a moment that many people can experience. You disappear, you go into non-existence, you disappear just for a second. So obviously in having physical sex, the ideal idea, as I understand it, is for two people to have orgasm at exactly the same time and with the same intensity. And they're people that they're a big part of their life is getting better and better at that. And that's called sexual yoga. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. You know?
You would call sexual yoga two people just working to orgasm at the same time?
Well, I'm just saying that a lot of people, that's what it is. Maybe that's news to you.
I don't know that I would call it sexual yoga.
Well, that's what they call it. That's what, in popular culture, the word yoga has been co-opted, if you feel that way about it, or adopted.
Yeah, or tantra. Yeah.
Yes, all those are, they all get adopted.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, when I said
But I don't subscribe to that.
it's just a point at which you just, two people disappear together and then they come back and they go into the time of space that we associate with God for a moment. So orgasm and God and the moment of death and the moment of birth are all the same. Orgasm, where orgasm takes you and your nervous system, your experience, that's what I mean by orgasm. God, conception, death, that same quality of life. Does that make sense? I'm not sure why I said that, or probably because you said something. You have more you want to talk about?
The last thing that I'll talk about doesn't have to be the last thing, but based on what you shared.
God, I hope so.
As long as it's short.
Only if it's short. Yeah, I like that. Is we had a conversation maybe 3 or 4 days ago about, I think it was the day after our first initiation ceremony together. And Sheikana and I sat down together and we pulled out the...
You mean what the 8 people did in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and Sheikana and I sat down together and we went through the section of the teachings that came from the website with the Apan Far teaching and that practice. And I shared with you my experience of that. And then you asked me to share that with everyone else.
Would you, I completely forgot. I knew it was special. I wouldn't have said that, but I totally forgotten. Would you remind me of what you said that caused me to say that?
I had shared my experience, something of the nature to we worked together with Flow and the Microcosmic Orbit and the Apan Far teaching, and both reading it to one another. And then for us, it was a merging of the two into 3 in our own being. And I shared a little bit about my experience of that.
I mean, you have to tell us all, right?
Well, the experience.
In other words, that's what you want to share, right? You want to tell us. Yeah.
The experience for me was really to merge back with what I feel is the other half of me. You describe it many different ways, being when we come and choose to come here, we split to experience different things, ultimately with the intention of union and coming back together. And I just feel like I had a very clear experience of that.
That's wonderful. Anybody have any comment or question about anything Yeshua's saying?
I love Apan Far. Apan Far was what I wanted to read to you in your garage when I came with Issa.
Mm-hmm.
And then Issa was like, is this the right time? And I was like, time. So I was so lit up to see you painting a piece with Apan Far.
That's the other piece.
And I love hearing like inklings of your guys' experience of it. I'm also feeling at capacity for this evening, and I would like to hear more about it at another time when I'm emptied.
Wait, what was the letter? Upbeat?
Emptied. When
Empty.
I'm
Empty.
open again to receive such a big,
All right.
exciting thing.
I have a feeling, I just heard that sound of completion. I think we're complete. Isn't it? I mean, I could do more here, but I just heard that sound of completion. And isn't it great when we are so, there's so unity of consciousness here that no, people aren't thinking and this, that, and the other. It's just that sound of unity, and then you feel complete. So whatever we are, the new being that is here and then starts filling the old beings, that on par. That's my opinion, man. Does anybody else feel complete?
Did you say?
That's my opinion, man. You know where that comes
I have a list of things that I would like to talk about.
We're missing our New York talk.
Come on, Clint, give it to us.
Yeah, first thing is, and then the next thing I wanted to say is,
Computer, turn off.